Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sober Swole podcast. My name is Jake Howard.
And I go by DJ Swirl. What's up, everybody?
This is my mom, but we'll get to her soon. Before we get started, I'd like to give a shout out to Royalty Nutrition. That's royaltynutrition.com. And to help me out with that, once again, as always, is Warhorse.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Royalty Nutrition is a veteran-owned and operated supplement company that does not skimp when they're making their products. Check them out. Use the discount code 37HAKE to save you 50% on your entire order. My next shout-out of the evening will be to Gorilla Gains. That's gorilla-gains with a Z.com. They are a fitness apparel company that you can wear comfortably in and out of the gym. They also make great equipment that helps keep you safe while you train. Use the discount code JAKE15 to save 50% on your entire order. Tell them about the Empire, DJ Swirl.
Oh, yeah. I am responding to your post right now. So I was about to share this on my socials, so I'm going to do it all in real time.
Ooh,
so, yeah, buy to buy. BUYTOBYE. Everywhere you are online. From the time you buy to the time we say goodbye, we take care of you, whether that's on-demand delivery, moving, staging, TV mounting, or assembly. If you don't have the time, towing, or muscle to get something taken care of, hit us up. We will give you a quote. We'll be there fast. We'll be friendly, and we'll knock it out for you. The content side of my business is Buy to Buy Studios, which is an extension of this. And yeah, so if you like to make content online, you have a normal audio or vocal podcast, you want to step your game up and bring it to the stage like this, let us know. We'll give you high quality results at a low cost. And that is Buy to Buy Studios. Everywhere you are as well online. There I am again. Hello. And yeah, so that's all I got, Jakey.
Oh, well, golly gee willikers. Thank goodness.
Oh, what? You're not ready now? Hey. Look at that. Lisa, welcome to the madness that is the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Sorry.
Do I need to do Warhorse again? Do I need to do it in reverse?
Oh, no.
So what stories would you like me to start with about Jake?
Oh, man. So
What do you want to know?
Yeah, go ahead.
since there was no red flags or there was no hesitation, I've known Jake for the last 4 years.
3 at least.
3 at least. So all I've known is sober Jake. So based off of the show title and what we're here to do, where do you stand currently in your overall assessment of your son's sobriety?
I'm in awe. I'm in awe. I try to I'm thinking of words and they're not coming to me. But, I haven't ever said this to him, but, his dad and we, in the back of our minds, prepared ourselves for that phone call.
Sure.
The one that just said he wasn't with us anymore because he was out there, and, if you have an addict in your family, you can't chase them.
Right.
You can't chase them. You just got to love them and shake your head a lot and pray a lot. So, and then here he is.
Right.
And, as you know, being a parent of young kids and step kids and all, there's a lot of stress that could throw you back any direction but forward.
Right.
And he's kicking ass.
That's awesome.
That's why I only smoke crack now.
Well,
occasionally,
only the kind you make yourself, all right?
recreational, homebrewed. No, no, we've brought up before, and it was, I think, one of the most embarrassing things in my life was when it was one of the first times I realized I was really out of control, and then mommy had to come save me. That's something I still think about. It's real weird.
That was a rough trip.
Yeah.
That was
So-
a rough trip.
So can you explain indeed again what happened with that specific situation?
Oh, you're saying.
Well, on my side, I mean, I already saw where he was in the spiral he was in, and his friends weren't really helpful with that. I think he had good friends, but those that wanted the better for him, they couldn't save him either. He had to do it himself. But
Right.
that was a trip that we had to go get him. He didn't have any money. He didn't have a job. His roommate had done something that he was a witness to, and he needed to be brought home for several reasons. One, so that he didn't hurt himself anymore if we could help it. And then whoever this person that he was associated with didn't do anything to him to keep him from witnessing in a trial. And so we went down. He was supposed to be packed. He had a pile of shit in the middle of his living room or his bedroom. That's what he thought was packed. And we had to literally just finish emptying drawers and wrap it in great big, I'm trying to think what those tarps. And then we taped up those tarps of his belongings and put them on my car and put him and his dog in my car and traveled back across the states to Illinois. And the whole time he's being an ass. And he's being an ass. Why?
I'm detoxing.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he could drive faster than I drove, and he could get there better than I could get there. And, it was not a good trip. It was rough. As a mom, to see your kid in that shape was pretty bad.
And how long was that drive?
3 days.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say hours. 3 days.
3 days.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should love your mom, man. You
Yeah, I
really
do.
should.
Yeah, man. Well, that's why I quit doing hard drugs.
Well, good.
Took a little bit longer to quit drinking, but
Yeah, that was bad.
So
I'd do it again, though. I would do it again.
yeah. So as a grandmother now, how has the transition from that moment to seeing him as a father, where does that put you now?
Where does that put me now? Oh, it was kind of like in the other that I had previously stated. Being a parent is not easy. There are moments that you're like, yeah, I got this. And that's when the kid takes a shit on your lap.
Yeah.
So, and then the more kids you have, the more shits you're going to have in your lap.
Yep.
And for him to have stayed sober and be a great stay-at-home dad is incredible. So as a grandma, and my babies and how much they love their daddy and all, it's awesome.
That's awesome.
And hi, Drew Cook, whoever you are.
that's Drew. He's a good man.
You're a good man, Drew.
Drew is a sober buddy of mine. He's the King Dingling of the Sober Caucus. He was doing all that work out in Reno.
Okay, fantastic.
So what made you want to bring your mother on the show tonight, Jake?
Well, she's in town, and Her bedroom's literally right behind me. So.
Nice.
Damn, Drew, I love you, man. But I think because I've told some mom stories and stuff here, and I figured, well, it'd probably be good since I at least got one of them here to. She can tell her side and where she felt and how she knows and how she understands.
Yeah.
Like I'm really lucky to have the parents that I have. All bumps in the road and everything, because there's a lot of people out there who, they're fighting their addictions and their things and relapses and backflips and whatnot, and then their parents are like, "I'm done with you. You're never going to fix yourself. I'm done."
Right.
And I'm really lucky. My mom, literally saved my life and really helped me get back up on my feet so I could, run off again.
Oh Lord, yeah. Yeah. His dad, my husband and I's 25th wedding anniversary celebration. Oh, I'm leaving for Texas today.
You did it like at a dinner?
No, it was a big event that we had, a celebration with cake and food and.
And where's the timing of this? How does he drop this gem?
It was okay. Maybe it was the day before.
Oh, okay.
That tomorrow I'm leaving. That's our anniversary party.
I went.
Gotta go.
I went.
And he went.
So you went like
He came to the party and left
Okay.
from the party to Texas.
Yeah.
let me put Drew's next comment up just so we can add to this.
Raising that knucklehead.
Yeah.
Right on
That's,
cue.
One of the things that with all my kids is there's no perfect parents out there. There's a lot of bad, good and ugly and great raising kids that he and his dad did. His dad and I did with the kids. But we also wanted them to be who they are and go and do who they are. Because if they don't get to experience that, I don't think you ever become who you are. You become who your parents want you to be.
Yeah.
So
Poor-
that's
poor
a big
Ruth.
thing.
to quote Bruce Springsteen,
Oh,
The boss.
"Baby, we were born to run." And, I did a fair amount of running for a while.
which I think he came by that honestly because I left home when I was 17, and I had my jumbles.
My mom left her house when she was 17 as well.
Jacob just always has to one up everybody,
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I mean, I had this level of bad, and then he had to.
Oh, sure. That's always the next generation, right? So Ruth, he's got the karma of all that coming back when she's a teenager, and when she hits that rebellious stage, and I mean, God forbid where technology is at that point, because we're gonna be at one hell of a disadvantage trying to wrangle all that in. But challenge accepted.
Yep.
Jake's face right now. He's like, I think that when we have conversations like this, he does a really good job of blocking out thoughts, and then I just like rip the Band-Aid off of any thought that he tried to escape from or keep from being as bad. And so I apologize, man. I really don't mean to
You're
be
okay.
that guy.
I went into like a weird sci-fi teleporting to one place
Yeah.
to another.
I mean, if you dive too deep, man, the paranoia will really kick in.
Uh-huh.
Will really kick in.
Well, saying Ruth's something else. Ask Grandma.
Well, it's like I stepped back in time, but now Jake's a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got her first bloody nose today.
Ooh. Doing
She's-
normal Ruth things or?
I mean, she was not watching where she was walking and tripped and fell.
Mm,
Knocked her noggin, as per tradition.
yeah.
Poor girl.
We had a pool party. We went to a little. We kind of put together a little pool party thing at Sam and Masood's house on Sunday, and their boys are something else, and so they were like playing, and same thing except for he spun around and ran full speed in the opposite direction and didn't realize his brother was right behind him. So he hit him with the crown of his head right smack in the nose, and I saw his head whip back. I'm like, oh. He landed and immediately started, wailing, and then his nose started bleeding. So it was like, so my 3-year-old has this thing about blood. So she looked at it, she saw him, she goes, Daddy, there's blood.
What did Ruth say? Her nose died?
Yeah, my nose is dead.
Oh, no.
My nose is dead.
That's adorable.
Well, it's because we watch all those old westerns together.
Mm-hmm.
So, she sees a little bit of blood. That's the guy dying.
Yeah.
Like the old cheesy westerns where
All super dramatic. Yeah.
yeah, no, my nose is dead.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep, both of my daughters are so smart too, which is what makes it so much more scary.
Mm-hmm.
No, what's scary is they it's almost like teamwork as to who and what they're gonna conquer in the next 15 seconds.
Yeah. And now it's Ruth. What are you doing? Nothing.
Which means something.
And so compared to Ruth, what's the youngest name?
Marley.
Marley. Does she have the same disposition as Ruth when she was the same age?
Marley's sneakier. She's
Ooh.
quiet.
Just wait until she becomes the middle of the three.
Well, but she picks her shots too. Like she waits.
Yeah, she's patient.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Patient with her petty. That's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a couple months ago. She waited until Ruth fell asleep on the couch, and she's full face.
Oh my!
And I mean, of course, I'm like, no, don't hit. But I'm also like, smart.
Right. Yeah.
It was vicious. Full palm. No, Mom's wanting to know how old your girls are.
My oldest is 6, and my youngest will be 4 next month.
Nice. Both girls?
Both girls. Yep.
Nice.
So my mom had 3 boys, and now I've got all girls. So she's very happy about that.
Have you heard the cake story?
No.
With Ryan's oldest?
No.
So we were in Strawberry for Paul and Dez's wedding, and Paul's grandma and his cousin made the cakes and then custom frosted the cakes. They made Paul his own special Dodgers cake. Well, Ruth ran up and stuck her finger in it and was just blue, right? Just blue. And so Brittany's got the girls wrangled up back in our cabin, and Ryan's daughter, Rylan, runs up to me and goes, "Hey, your daughter put her hand in the cake. She wasn't supposed to." She wasn't supposed to. I said,
I love it.
Thank you for telling me. I know.
Opposed to.
She wasn't supposed to.
And so then, didn't you go and tell Paul about it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It gets better.
Yeah, let's get it all.
So, we're waiting on. We haven't even done the wedding party reception, procession, the walk-ins, and nothing. And so I walk into where Paul's just waiting, and he's actually talking to his grandma. And I said, "Dude, I'm so sorry. Ruth stuck her hand in your cake." And he goes, "The wedding cake?" And I said, "No, your cake." And his grandma's like, "Shh, shh, shh."
Oh, he didn't know there was going to be a
there was a surprise cake for Paul. And I was like, "Hey, surprise!" the Howard strike twice in like 30 minutes. Just back, back.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They were. Ruth really enjoyed it up there. She was playing and having a good time playing with the big kids.
Yeah. I think that's her niche. At least at the pool.
Yeah.
She likes the big kids at the pool.
Well, so I mean, you're more experienced in that than me. Isn't that like a girl thing? Don't.
Usually, like maybe Mila's age wants to be with the teenage girls,
Okay.
not the little ones so much. But I don't know that they really notice age.
Just
Other
yet.
than, yeah, I just think that she was comfortable with those girls because she's with big girls here.
Makes sense.
She thinks she's a big girl.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
She thinks she's a big girl.
My daughter wants to get a job at Peter Piper Pizza because she's like, "Why do you always work?" I always work because you're expensive. Okay, well, and she said, "Can you get cheaper stuff?" I was like, "Well, I mean, it won't taste as good." And so she's like, "Okay, so can I get a job then?" And I'm like, "I mean, you can, but I don't think they allow kids to get jobs like that." And she's like, "Well, I'll just work in the back. I don't have to work out in the front, but I want to work at Peter Piper Pizza." And I was like, and so she graduated from kindergarten last month, just a couple weeks ago, and they did like a video montage of all the kids, like with photos. And so the last photo for every kid had like, "I want to be a cop. I want to be a veterinarian. Hers said, "I want to be the boss. I want to be in charge so I can tell other people what to do." That's what her quote was. So yeah, she is prime for Peter
Nice.
Piper Pizza manager status. Oh man.
Behold the pizza queen.
I mean the pizza arcade combo, she's fixed, man. She loves that.
Yeah, I don't think. See, growing up, I don't think I've ever been to as a kid to Peter Piper Pizza. We were there was the Chuck E. Cheese, and then Absolute No Fun.
Absolutely no fun.
There was a place called Absolute Fun.
Yeah,
Oh my. Was that in Texas or Illinois?
no, this was in Illinois.
In Illinois, yeah.
Yeah, and it had one of those. The coolest thing about it was they had a slide, but it was on rollers.
Ooh.
That was cool.
Okay.
That's the only thing I remember about that
Yeah,
place.
it was like an indoor trampoline park, but there was no trampolines. It was all this. I don't know how else to explain it, but it had all these things you crawl through and climb through and swing on. And
Right.
yeah.
90s Death Trap.
Oh yeah. I mean, germ death trap. You think about the germs, man. Anyway, but no, we had Chuck E. Cheese. I remember the awful robotics and the creepy big eyes, like just doing that thing while it sings to you. Just like, oh my god, you look back at that and it's so creepy. But so yeah, we had that. Where I grew up in Central Indiana, they had this place called Bogey's Fun Center, and so like they had the giant place where you climb around and up and down and around and stuff. They had arcades. They had a mini golf outside. They had a go-kart track, and then they had like national recording artists come and perform there.
Oh.
Like they would have like little concerts with the radio station. It was so dope. This is like early '90s, but yeah, they went to this place on Main Street in Mesa, and they have this slide. Bro, it is such a hazard. Like when we showed up to this place, it's not Uptown Jungle, but it's similar to that. My daughter, my youngest, she was gonna go down it, and I told my wife, I was like, "Oh, she'll be fine." She says to lay flat, and so she laid flat when I let her go. I was at the top, my wife's at the bottom. She laid flat, and then as soon as she could, she wanted to see where she was going, so she sat up. And then as soon as and the dip on the bottom of this thing, it has there's no slight curve. It's like 45-degree angle, bro. It's so sharp. and so it whipped her, and so she went bow and hit her head, and so. But every kid that went down did it, and it's just something that they accept because it's for the older kids, so they can have a wider demographic. But I saw a kid online go down the same slide on a tricycle. Oh boy, its insurance claim. I don't know how those places stay open because the liability is unsettling, man. It looks bad.
It's got to be in the fine print of the contract.
Yeah. You come in, the waiver. You sign your life away at those places.
We're not responsible for bodily injury or death.
Oh man, it's so bad. Anyway,
so it always reminds me of you remember a Goofy movie?
Oh, I remember Goofy movie fondly.
Yeah, that's where they go to Lester's Possum Lodge.
Yeah.
Lester's Possum Lodge.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's the years of musical, vocal training
Yeah.
that we paid for Jacob.
Yeah, paid my fucking.
So why did I never see an American Idol appearance by Jake the Snake?
Because I can't hear out of my right ear, but
Okay.
no, I grew up in a really, really musical family. Mom can sing. Dad plays stringed instruments. My brother can play everything with strings on it. I just shot your rubber band. So
That's fine. We'll get it later.
My dad's parents, my grandparents, have been traveling bluegrass gospel musicians since I can remember. Then you've got my slacking ass. I can play a bass to death, but don't ask me to chord or anything or carry a tune in the bucket.
You can leave it alone.
I'm sorry, I gotta find it now. There,
Jeez.
found it.
No mental illness in our family.
I'm medicated.
Me too.
Yes.
Speaking of that, my cannabis card just expired 3 days ago.
Oh no! Now you're back being a criminal, huh?
Where's the? I gotta get a womp womp noise in here. I don't have it on here yet. I gotta update my sound effects. But yeah, I was looking at the cost because it's still $150, and it's 2 years. So it's like, okay, they spread the payment or the amount of it, but you still have to go to see a doctor and get signed off for it. Like that costs money too. So it's like $300 every 2 years, and the difference in terms of tax wise, there's no real benefit. If they have like BOGOs or specials, it goes both ways. Like there's no special for being medical, so it's only tax. You're taxed less. So
Yeah.
I was going to ask, isn't marijuana legal in Arizona?
it is recreationally acceptable now, and so all they do is jack up the price. So I don't know what the figures are, but it's at least 15% higher tax wise if you don't have a medical card and you just
Gotcha.
go into a dispensary. So, but if you order ahead and you just show up and pick up your stuff, there's no you don't get to jump the line. You don't get there's no perks like spending that extra money. So I was like, I'll just let it go. So it's good to go now, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I'm out here roughing it, I guess.
Weigh it out. See if you spend $300 in tax.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not like our previous co-host was. He was going hard in the paint at the dispensaries. I don't go like that. I only go when there's a special, and I only get what I want. And if it's not there, I don't go. Like, it's real basic. I get enough to last me a long enough time, and I do get cranky when I don't have it. But that's just because my body aches.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like you're 40 doing a hard manual labor job.
it's almost like I'm 40 bending my back and all of that jazz. Yeah, something like that.
Weird.
But
Apparently,
apparently,
brain, but I can do that math real quick.
yeah, apparently my bones are in good, and my joints are in good shape. My chiropractor, was impressed that I'm with my job title at my age. So he's like, if you take care of yourself, you should be doing this until you're 60. I was like, well, listen, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah,
Hopefully that will be outsourced.
Exactly. But it was Memorial Day this weekend, so or it was yesterday, whatever. And today's Wednesday, correct?
Yep.
Man, this week is flying by. But yeah, since it was Memorial Day weekend, this past weekend, we had to skip a week, and so my body is tightening up, and I won't go until Tuesday again. I'm just like, man, I gotta start stretching, because in between those pops and those cracks, man, I feel it. I can't feel the rain coming, maybe because we live in Arizona also, but like, there's some stiffness for sure.
No, I can't. I can definitely tell when it's going to rain before it rains. It's pretty great. And I'll be 35 on Saturday.
Where are we at? Man, 3-4. Big
Yeah.
Barkley.
Yeah,
what
man.
What are you guys doing to celebrate anything?
I got an athlete that's doing a show, so I'll be pacing all day.
You'll be pacing nervously?
And maybe eating apple pie.
I mean, probably eating apple pie. No, like, that's one of the things. It's like, I'm not really too big on celebration of my birthday really anymore, because I got shit to do.
Yeah.
And then, when it comes to my athletes and them doing something, I need to be available.
Yep.
So I mean, it's another day. Congratulations.
No, it's good on you.
A flight home then on Saturday, since you have all that going on.
Thank you.
I didn't know because nobody tells me anything.
Well, you see, I think she's going to be ready. This is a pull the trigger at the last minute inning.
When you do this, are you whispering from the people that are watching this?
So the camera on here is really good because they can hear everything going on in the air conditioner. They can probably hear what
I
Bruce
just
watching.
wondered why, like, it's live and you're holding your hand up like you don't want these people to hear you.
Listen, all 10 people that are going to hear this, I don't care.
I'm on here, so
Oh, yeah.
I'd probably bump your.
Oof.
Yeah?
I'm just saying.
She's going to give us that Natasha Nice bump.
So, all right. We did an episode with Paul and his now wife.
Okay.
And somehow we got in the conversation about boobs and porn stars.
Okay.
So the name of the episode was Natasha Nice, Not So Nice. And that is our most viewed episode we've ever put out.
By a long shot.
By a long shot. And
So if you bring that same energy, thank you in advance.
I thought crypto and dildos was going to be a good one, but it didn't really
Yeah,
catch on.
it didn't catch on, but I don't know why.
That's funny.
Because we had a good one there, but we're talking crypto and what was going on then, and then like the Trump dildo. That was a good episode. That was
man.
high quality content. People just missing out.
That's the thing about you learn really quickly about making content on the internet is you could make something that's timeless, but if it doesn't hit and people don't catch it, it's like there's a tree fall in the forest. Nobody could know, and it could be the best thing you've ever seen. So I don't take anything off because you could. And supporting evidence, Natasha Nice. It had nothing to do with her the majority of the episode. You weren't. She wasn't a part of it. Like most watched episode easily. So yeah, I don't take any. I don't take no ego.
Here, you can go into the. I'm gonna show Mom this. You can go into the analytics of everything.
You can show her a graph or a chart.
Yeah. So that's okay.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's.
How is your mom? How are you with technology, Lisa? Are you a fan?
I survive.
Okay.
I survive. I have Instagram and Facebook and TikTok.
Are you pretty active?
I don't record any TikToks. 230.
But you see, like the average duration.
Oh yeah.
They don't even last a
0.9
minute.
seconds.
These words don't even last a minute.
These guys don't even last a minute.
That's funny. But I don't know. I think for a 54-year-old, I'm pretty all right.
There you go. I'm working on a project with my father. We're doing a podcast together, and he's 63, and I am introducing him essentially to Instagram. But he is a quick learner, and he's very curious, so he catches on pretty quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's good. It's always good to hear.
I like social media, and I hate social media
Yeah.
all the time. And I think that's everybody.
Yeah, it is definitely a love-hate relationship. Oh man, one of my so I have for my business, you could not advertise on Facebook's marketplace space. So where people buy and sell things, right? But I
Right.
move things that people buy and sell, so it made sense for me to try and put myself there. I kept getting very limited on what I could post. So I only had one active post on marketplace that offered my services. That was just like fast free delivery and more, or fast friendly delivery and more. And so it has been around for probably 6 months, at almost a year, and no one said a thing. No problem. I got a message this morning that post was removed because it violated their commercial guidelines, because I'm a business soliciting a service, and they don't allow that. But if you scroll through all the items that it lists near you, you'll pass 10 of them that say moving, delivery, or whatever. And it's like I clicked on one and I took a screen record of it. This single guy has like 200 plus listings of the same thing, all different pictures of moving boxes and stuff blanketed and taped up. It's like, yo, there's the algorithm is rigged. It's awful. So yeah, but I have to be there. I have to be in that space to compete. So it is definitely a love-hate relationship.
So, can you like put pictures of product with your name on it?
So it's not even like it was literally just a picture of the back of my trailer. And the back of my trailer says no time, towing, or muscle. It's an icebreaker, and it has my QR code. There's nothing you can really get from that. You would have to take a picture of it
Right.
and then send it to somebody and then look at it from your phone. Like, it's not easy to get around to even look at seeing what QR code my QR code goes. So it's like, oh man, it's so frustrating. But I could pay for advertising space, and it could show up wherever they put it.
Right.
So,
That's why they're doing it.
Yep. So fun times.
Yeah.
And then they own Instagram. So what do you do? Tuck your tail. That's about all I got.
Do they have? I mean, we're talking about it. Like we have, like I live in Sunnyland, and we have Sunnyland pages,
Yep.
and people post things like that. Like, who knows a good moving company, and people put it on there. Is that the same in this area too?
It will work, yeah. So that's just it. That's word of mouth. That's just a referral. So that happens a lot because they have a recommendations tab. So like someone I could know or someone I know could say, "Oh, I need a recommendation for a moving company," and then I would reply as the business to say, "Here's let me put my my card in the hat." And so yeah, they allow that. Nothing wrong with that. I can do that all day long. However, I can't
You would have to hire someone to keep up with it.
to keep up with that. And so that's what people do with bots. You can program and you can automate a sequence of steps that allows a person to for a bot to represent a person asking a vague question that you simply respond to. Twitter, they're all over the place on Twitter. So I'm not hip to that language, to coding and stuff like that. So yeah, I can't compete on that sense either. So Wild Wild West out there. But hey, I don't work in an office cube. Hooray!
That was, yeah, I've said this before too. That was the worst job I ever had. Was that bit at the bank? That was the worst.
Worse than McDonald's.
Way worse.
Oh, I worked at McDonald's too. It was way worse than McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's where I met Jake's dad, and I mean I worked for McDonald's for 8 years. I loved McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean I wouldn't mind going home smelling like fries every night. Like I didn't care. Like when I worked for it, I was really young. I worked for Burger King. I helped like open a store when I was like 17 because they were like, "Yeah, definitely you live on this side of town. We're opening a new store. Come help run it." At 17, I was like,
You're like, hells yeah.
yeah." For
There is really so many skills to acquire in fast food. It gets a bad rap.
the amount of social juggling you do, dealing with different personalities and people in different, states of mood. They could be disgruntled in a hurry to get to work, or they could be a snowbird that has all of the time in the world and they're happy to see you. Like it's the spectrum of people you come across on every given day is it's wild, and it's all around this thing that is not good for any of us.
Correct.
So yeah, a lot of toxicity. So if you can learn to live in that environment, it's like in New York. If you can live in New York, you live anywhere. If you can live and work through surviving through either fast food or food service, just in general, you could take a lot of shit.
Yep.
Or it completely destroys you as a person.
Is this worth forever?
Because I also got introduced to meth teeth at Burger King.
Yeah.
And as a young whippersnapper, that is a sight to see. So, yeah, I would not have come across that in a school book.
And see, that was before, I'm going to say, I didn't have any of that. I don't know if it's where I grew up
Yeah.
or meth wasn't a thing.
At the time, right?
I don't know. I think pot was the really big deal.
Man, fast food would have been a lot better if I had been smoking pot at the time. Way more fun. Way worse for my diet, but way more fun.
I think McDonald's was the place where I got away with my biggest theft.
Ooh.
Food or money?
Food. Never stole money.
Oh, yeah.
I never stole money. Well, not my biggest theft. When I was a minor, I suppose.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
No, I had Nick and Brian pull up behind the store, and I'd hand boxes of quarter pounder patties out of the freezer to them.
So that's the theft? Was patties?
I don't want to say their last name.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Just make sure you put your hand over your mouth. You'll be good.
Brian.
I know who you mean. Didn't he work there with you too?
No.
Sorry.
Statute of limitations is
Edit
passed.
that out.
Statute of limitations is long gone.
Okay, you're good.
Kind of like my my possible hate crime.
Oh, Jesus.
Lord.
You say as you giggle and she sighs deeply.
Next to my mom.
That's your do you want to expound on that or the Burger King or the fast food theft?
No, it was just I had put in my 2 weeks and I was like, fuck this place and everybody here, and there's a couple of guys that we went to school with, and I said, I bet you we could get away with like taking a bunch of shit out of the bag. He goes, I bet we could too. And then we planned it out to where they pull up and they sent me a text about, hey, we're here. And then I walked out with a bunch of frozen shit out of the freezer and just act like I was taking the trash out.
You Oceaned 11 to fast food joint?
I did. Yeah.
That's amazing, bro. That is fantastic.
Yeah. 16 was a good year.
I don't think my theft was ever. I think my theft was more like Office Space. You know how they took like a penny for every transaction or whatever?
Yeah.
Like I would just discount food all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would steal from them in a small increment, but so I saved a lot of money on food.
Well, people would come in as we were closing, just high as shit, and all the food we were supposed to be throwing away anyway.
Oh yeah.
We brought
Oh,
it
yeah.
up. There you go.
Yeah. The amount of food waste at those places is awful. Really bad. So yeah, the fact that they waste so much good food all of the time anyway is kind of like, oh, you're gonna okay, fine. But the fact that the stipend they gave you every shift as a growing teenager who's athletic, who has a job in high school and is in also with athletics and in band, like I eat a lot, so $8 or $10 or whatever they gave you for like an 8 and 10 hour shift was like, go fuck yourself. So, yeah, I definitely ate $20-$30 worth of food back in the early '90s every day. So
Easy.
they had, and like Burger King used to have $1 chicken sandwiches. Destroy.
Well, it was the price point on the chicken tenders that McDonald's had for a while
Mm-hmm.
was they were making like they were barely making anything on them because they were so much more expensive than like the nugget. But bro, when I was out there on the line making, have I told the story about when I had to talk to the drug counselor in high school?
No.
Okay. So I quit working at McDonald's because I hated it. And I knew that I needed to start getting my shit together for wrestling season that was coming up. And so I went into a whole wrestler diet right away. I started my cut way before they did because they started doing hydration tests and like body fat examinations. So I knew that, and they'd only let you lose a certain amount of weight per season. So I knew I had to start my cut way before the season began so I could get to my 160, 152 weight classes that I wrestled in.
Gotcha.
So I start my cut, and I'm full blown. I'm not eating. I'm barely drinking water, and I'm just pulling it off me, going on runs every night, sleeping in trash bags at the party.
Right.
And I was sitting in Mr. Martin's history class, and it was Sam Barlow, young lady.
I thought you were supposed to say a last name.
Yeah, but I'm not implicating her in a crime.
Well played, Lisa. Well played. Keep him in
you.
check. Keep him in check. Proceed.
But she goes, "Are you okay? You look so sick." And I said, "No, I'm fine." She goes, "Oh, I mean, but you don't look good." I go, "That's probably the meth." Just in my smart ass
Oh
throw,
no.
leave me alone.
Oh no.
So someone in this class heard me make this snide, ha ha ha. And so this the next week I get, "Hey, you need to talk to Mr. So-and-so, who's the school psychologist, drug counselor that I didn't even know existed."
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I go in and he's like, "Hi." I was like, "Okay, weird guy who I've never seen before."
Oof.
And yeah, "I need to talk to you about a concerning comment that you made. This was brought up to us by some concerned students in your class." I said, "Is this the meth thing?"
Very good.
And he goes, "Well, yeah." And I was like, "Dude, do I look like I'm on meth to you?" And he goes, "No." And I said, "I'm not on meth, man." And he goes, "Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't look like you're on meth. You show no signs of meth addiction." Or I was like, "Correct, because I'm not on meth."
And what year was this?
This was 2005.
2005. Okay. I mean, there's a couple things. One, you got a support system for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you wanted or needed it at all is another thing, but you definitely had it, so that's great. And you probably weren't an open book to like talk about your feelings, and so that kind of plays into the whole school shooter vibe. But again, that's a support system. If not looking out for themselves, looking out for your best interest, because you might have been a little jaundiced if you were not eating or hydrating.
I was white, gone.
It's terrible. If I had pictures to pull up and show you,
Wow.
I would give you, and it would make me so mad. And he would do this, like he'd get in layers of sweatpants and put these trash bags on. And he had a waterbed, so he's in a heated bed.
Oof.
And so this, and it would just piss me off. Well, one night in the middle of the night, there's a big crash in his bedroom. And I come in, and I don't know how he had done it, but he got his arm behind his dresser. And I don't know if he was convulsing. I don't know what he was doing. But in this sweat thing he was doing, pulled over his dresser. Do you remember any of that?
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I said, if I ever catch you trying to sweat like that again, I'll kill you if it doesn't.
Dang. That's tough.
It was bad. Yeah, he had almost like the bulgy eyes at times and so white.
Yeah.
It was yucky.
I lived.
He did.
So the military was a breeze for you then.
No.
Because goddamn, sir.
Boot camp wasn't hard. Physically.
Yeah.
It was more of the I've never been a fan of authority thing.
Sure.
That was.
But in terms of your physical pain tolerance and
that was
being
cake.
able to cope. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
So I was getting in trouble. I had gotten in trouble because I was fucking off during a rifle range class, not paying attention or something.
Good time.
So it was me and another recruit. I know how to shoot.
Yes.
That's why he's a pizza box.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
The fuck I am.
All
You want
right.
to pull it up? Coming at me all wrong.
Wait. Pause. What does pizza box mean?
It's a basic marksman. It's
Okay.
just congratulations, you qualified on the rifle range.
Okay.
And I never. It's who I am. I pulled my trigger. Like, I made my shots. I'm done here. And then I turned around. It was my last time on the range. I went, okay, I know how to do this. Tot. I fucked off for 4 years. Leave me alone. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
Sorry, I called him out.
No. You did it in the way only a mom can. It's perfect. Like you did it in the most personal way. First of all, like you inside joked him on his public live stream. That's amazing.
I'm in awe.
That's fantastic.
Oh, but where was I in my story?
You were talking about you were digging
Oh,
around
yeah.
on the
Hey,
range.
look at that lady.
Rebecca, I love you. Okay.
No, but no, I was. So we were, doing our push-ups and stuff in the sand, and that was when you knew you were in trouble when they took you out to the sand and messed you up because the sand got caught in everything.
Right.
And in boot camp, you're not supposed to say "I" until you earn the privilege. You can't say "I" or "me." It's always this recruit.
I
right?
like that. I like that.
And so I was in the back of the sand pit with drill instructor Staff Sergeant Botello, and he was just kicking the shit out of us. He goes, Howard, why do I always see you in my pit? I like it, sir. I like it. And then I was there for like 2 hours.
Was the rest of your team as well?
No.
Oh, individual punishment. Nice.
So Staff Sergeant Mattello and I grew a healthy respect for each other. I did what I was told when he told me to, and we snickered.
Like soon after this, or
Much because no one, they couldn't break me. That was the thing.
Gotcha.
So it was like, how do we work with this kid since we can't break him? Like he's not dumb. He does what he's told, but he's a smart ass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry, it comes naturally.
Right.
Honestly, it's in the genes.
Mm-hmm. No, you're talking to a guy who graduated high school with like a 3.2. Didn't get any offers anywhere. Went to the college that was in my town, and they had placement tests. Fucking around with my friend, I got sophomore level classes my freshman year. I was like, what? Wait, what? It ruined my college experience because I was
They
digging
placed you too high.
because I still did well, but I went and talked to the counselor who wound up talking to my dad, who was like my dad's mentor, and he couldn't relate to me in the slightest. So that, on top of, here, take these extra hard classes for no reason, and also take this community bullshit class because you don't have a declared major and you're paying for all of this at 18, 19 years old. I said, fuck this. And so, yeah, I dropped out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I understand the hard-headed, the toxic young man shit that we do to prove ourselves worthy of nothing that needs our validation. Like, literally, there's literally no pat on the back that would have been good enough to say, you did it your way. Thumbs
Good
up.
job.
But we
Yeah,
all do, we all
Where
do it.
you're at now, as far as validation goes, I mean, just because you didn't finish college,
Well, you went back.
well, at that time,
Yeah.
or even now, when you're at now, there is so much validation as to where you are now. And I'll use Jake as an example. I mean, homeowner, car owner, raising children, and their power is on and their water is running. You know
Yep.
what I mean? That's huge validation. There are people that have got an education, a doctorate, that have no common sense to raise a fish,
Yep.
and you're beyond that.
I appreciate that. I do. Yeah, I definitely went back a few years later and I was like, okay, here's the responsible thing to do. Because I could have just withdrawn like an adult. But, they don't teach you that when you're granted money or, you have an obligation by financial aid. If I would have withdrawn, they would have cut off whatever I would have paid my dues and would have been over with. But I dropped out, so they like penalized me. So then I went back and then aced all my classes, and then I wound up moving out here to Arizona and went to the technical school I should have went to in the first place at the top of my class, and then I was too old to like travel and go be an intern for free because I was a grown person who was married with a house. So like it kind of parlayed into the rest of my life, but like there's so much extra lessons to be learned in just the frustration of trying to create your own lane but also fit in for the sake of stability. So like talking about the office life and all that, all that was for the same kind of reasons to do the quote unquote right thing, knowing you were the odd man out every time. So I feel like I could have gone to the military and done an even worse thing because I'm not a fan of I'm a fan of the no I, but I'm still an individual. Like and my accolades and my personality and how I conduct myself should be appreciated more than someone who doesn't try. So to be lumped in as just a recruit or, whatever the low level is, even early, like I could never do that. Never.
I mean, military is not for everybody, and I really wish they'd quit trying to promote it like it is. Because at the end of the day, your job with the military is supposed to be nation defense and killing people better than the other people are trying to kill you.
Yep.
That's it. That's its sole purpose.
Well, the other thing that should not happen is they should not let these recruiters in the high schools.
Yeah.
That should not happen.
I can't change my oil or do my taxes, but let me go fight overseas. Yeah.
It's not, they're not ready for it. Mentally, they are not ready for that.
I would have gone anyway.
You would do whatever you were going to do,
No.
no matter. I said you were going to do whatever you were going to do anyway.
Okay.
I know that. But I don't think they should be in the schools recruiting.
I agree.
Do they let the cosmetologists into the schools to recruit? Do they let, any other agencies in to recruit? No. So why does the military get to do it?
Same reason military gets flyovers at NFL games. There's a comma and some zeros.
Yep. I thought you were going to tell the story about how you ripped the recruiter a new asshole for just showing up at the house.
Oh,
Well-
yes.
Have you heard that?
I've not. No, I have not.
Well, it's back to I don't like the recruiters being in there because they got so deep in Jake and Derek's brains that they couldn't, and this was the Marines. And the Army was there and all the other people were. But the Marines have this thing where if they get in the kid's brain, there's nothing else to even look at. Even if the Army's offering, a $20,000 sign-on bonus, they're not going to do it. Well, my thing for him is I will not sign the papers until you go and talk to a Navy recruiter, an Air Force recruiter, and an Army recruiter. If you go see them and talk to them, which he said he did, but he did not.
No, I did.
Okay, I thought you said you didn't. I thought, okay.
No, I did. I brought my pamphlets home and everything.
Okay, so anyway.
When they had Taco Bell with the National Guard recruiter.
So that. So anyway, so that was my thing, is you need to talk to these other people because they wanted to give you money to join, and the Marines was for the pride. And I'm like, pride doesn't pay your fucking phone bill.
Yep.
But that wasn't seen. No one was seeing it that way except for someone who had bills to pay and knew what you had to do to pay them. Mm-hmm. So anyway, this one night there's this knock at the door. So
and let's set this up too. He wasn't even my recruiter.
Yeah. So there's this recruiter at the door, and he introduces himself. I think he said he was your recruiter or worked with you.
He was one of the recruiters at the Peoria office, but he was not my recruiter.
And so I let him in, and I'm doing shit, whatever, around the house. And I'm like, Jake, your recruiter people are here or whatever. And so Jake and this guy go out to our room, and they're talking or whatever. And I'm going about my business because I have nothing to say to this person. And pretty soon Jake's like, Mom, he's not here to see me. He's here to see you. Ooh. I said, I didn't set any appointments. Yeah. So anyway, I went out and I sat down, and he starts asking me all these questions about, Jacob's hole in his ear. His ears are pierced, and ask if he had any tattoos. And he's going over all these things. And I said, what is the point of this? And he was saying, well, this is, for his recruitment process, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, in that case, we're not invited to my home. You are now trespassing in my home because I don't have an appointment with you. And if you want to talk to me about my son, you need to go about it a different way. And in the meantime, you need to leave. And I guess he went back to the recruiting office, and I was everything but, a nice lady, a little nice lady.
Yeah.
And he got moved on. I even talked to his recruiter, and I said, if that's how you people do business, you people are assholes. And he wasn't there. I don't know what they did with him, but you found out he was on like probation or something. He had done some other stuff. He had
gotten NJP'd somewhere, so they had to move him. And
they moved him here.
Mm-hmm.
And then that happened, and then they moved him somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, recruiting rules. I knew a couple guys that I served with that ended up going to recruiter school, and they teach you how to recruit. But this guy was not doing it by the book, skirting the rules a little bit, I suppose. No, I think he was one of the ones that ended up fooling around with a young lady trying to come in.
Yeah. I am the nicest person, and I will do anything for anybody, but you step across me sideways. My daughter Allison says I have the ability to serve shit, and people think they're eating cake. Mm-hmm. And when they walk away, they realize what just happened.
Mm-hmm. That's about gift.
It's a gift.
It's like you get your ass handed to you, and you're like, oh, thank you, and then you realize why you're not walking right.
I don't necessarily raise my voice. It gets firm, just like I was in it, and then
yeah. But people take that. People that take that directness as like a lack of compassion, when in fact it's the opposite. It's like you're the boundary that the other people are unwilling to set, and people don't like their boundaries. They don't like to. I mean, that story is a testament to that. You don't need to put walls up just because they're supposed to be there, or because that's the way they do things. But if you snap back and you put that wall up, they'll back down in a hurry because they're not used to that opposition. They're not used to people returning serve.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm glad you said it like that. If that's how you conduct business, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is the military a marketing, is an MLM, whatever that is?
Multi-level marketing. Man.
Are they like the Mary Kay of toughness?
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing.
Well, sure, the recruiters get bonuses per people they get in. So, of course, it's a pyramid scheme.
That one's okay, though, right?
Well, yeah, because it's the government, and, the government does no wrong, right?
You look up as the jets fly over.
Like
you watch your money fly over a football game.
You see all of our taxpayer dollars getting...
that FDR came up with.
Yeah.
What's that called? Social Security.
Right.
No, but so speaking of young man hubris, and proving yourself you don't have to, I took my ASVAB and I was sitting down with my recruiter, and he goes, "Holy shit, you can do literally any job in the Marine Corps except for be around nukes." And I went, "Okay." He goes, "No, seriously, like whatever job you want, like you can do whatever you want." I went, "Infantry." He goes, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Well, yeah, he was an angry young teenager who doesn't want to shoot guns and shit.
Yeah.
Another, reason I say, don't let the recruiters in.
Now I can't hear. My body hurts for no reason.
And did you suffer any CTE or any brain trauma from wrestling? Would you say?
Probably. Oh, I got knocked the fuck out my sophomore year.
Yeah. I
got picked up, knocked the fuck out. Like, had to be woke up on the mat.
Yep. So I'm thinking like that, like basketball players falling back, landing on hardwood. NFL players getting cracked all the time. Like young kids dealing with head trauma like that, and then speaking to recruiters, having that imbalance, and then here's this tough guy shit. Come sign up, put your life on the line.
I had plenty of head injuries, chair shots.
Yeah, I mean, did you say you were one of three?
One of three boys. We definitely wrestled.
Right?
Yeah.
And same here. And then we got Allison and Derek later. But I mean, we've drywalled and painted and, man. Jared, the youngest, talks about some wrestling thing they did out in the front yard, and they slammed him and knocked him out. Or
Wow.
Man. That's probably why Jared has scoliosis, to be honest. Just throw that out there, Mom. We were playing a game. We were playing tag, but it was knockdown tag. So in a way, you could be not in anymore if you knocked the person over like that you were tagging, right?
Sure.
So it was me, my brother Jordan, who is on the autism spectrum. We talked about that. My cousin Travis, and probably a couple of other neighborhood boys. And,
I almost said a last name.
But and Jared was like, he's 8 years younger than me, but he always liked to hang around with the big kids when we were running around being crazy.
Yep.
And we had beat the shit out of each other enough and called it good. And my brother Jordan, he was the last person that was it, and was not happy with being the last person that was it, and was throwing a tantrum about it. And Jared had come over to me, and I can't remember what we were talking about because this was 100 years ago, but I pick him up like I'm going to do a last ride power bomb. You'll have to look that up. And I'm just holding him up. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna drop you in the bush. I'm gonna drop you in the bush. And oh no, Jake, no, no, no. But Jordan out of nowhere just comes up, boom, just he crumpled me.
Yeah.
But our youngest brother up in the air like this, and boom. And Jared didn't hit the bush; he hit that ground, probably about right here.
Ooh.
Folded him.
So he speared you into a power bomb.
Yep.
Goodness.
It was a trifecta.
That sounds like some young boy shit for real.
Well, but it was like thinking about it because Jared wasn't crying. He got up and he was mad. And he walked up and punched Jordan right in the balls. But like thinking about it, like that's shock.
Oh yeah. The not testosterone. Well, Adrenaline. Yeah, you guys are not gonna feel that. I saw a TikTok. Speaking of that, I don't do TikTok videos either, but I watch them.
Yes.
And so, and I share them, and I like whenever I'm inspired or something touches me or whatever, like I'll share it with people. So, but yeah, I don't do dances. I don't do all that shit. But like, I saw a TikTok while I was eating lunch today of a young girl who dove into a swimming pool without knowing how deep it was. And so they showed like a timeline of clip or of photos, and so her name is now the girl in the chair, and I'm just like, oh my god,
I've seen that.
Yeah. And so it just came across my For You as I was scrolling today. So, but yeah, it's like the same thing, like no intention of causing harm, and then she like messed herself up permanently, and but it's amazing to see their strength and their resolve of being able to adapt to their new life. It's a new life because she was a young girl, just I think the first picture is like them in a hot tub or something, just having a good time, and then she dove. There's no video or anything, but she's immediately with a neck brace on and a stretcher, and then she's intubated, and you're just like, what? So, same thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to go dark or.
No, you're good.
Out of the room.
Oh, they had water fights. They shot BB guns. It got where I had to put. I mean, they were home alone while I was at work.
Yeah.
In the summer, so I have water damage to the house from where they had water fights. I've kept some of that because this is going to sound really crazy, but it's just memories that the kids had fun at home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's important. They shot BB guns. They'd get the BB guns out when I was gone. Mm-hmm. I had to start putting those in my car and take them to work with me.
Wow.
And we don't live like in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
We live like where we share a driveway with the neighbor next door.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. Hey, I remember playing with my
peppered up pretty good.
Yes.
I remember playing with my brothers, and we had a game to where you would ride a bike, and you'd go toward them, and they would throw rocks at the spokes. So outside of the obvious ankle and knee abrasions you get from getting hit with projectiles, like it was like the similar story. We were done playing, and I did the last trip, and my younger brother, who was 3 years younger but always wanted to hang out, and I hung out with my older friend, so he's 6 years younger than everybody else. So he's trying to hang, and he gets frustrated because he either didn't get enough time or he missed throwing it at me. And we used to fight like crazy when we were younger, so it didn't take much for him to be upset with me. So we did that last run. He didn't get a throw off, apparently. I'm coming back like yelling, talking to them about what we're going to do next. And I got hit in the head, pow, with a rock. Boom. And only one person threw a rock. So we knew immediately who it was, and I don't even know if there was ever an apology. It was just like, oh, are you hurt? Yeah, you threw a fucking rock at me. But yeah, we definitely had our share of those things as well, for no reason other than to do them.
Good times.
Jacob had an art of being where the danger was.
Oh, yeah. Look at that smile.
And getting out of it. he thought I didn't ever know about shit that went down. But I mean, he was at some party in the woods and the cops showed up. That was with Mike, who was one of the officers. Mike that lived across the street from us.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, that's when he was the park ranger. That wasn't a party. That was a that was a town versus town brawl.
Okay.
What?
Party, brawl. I guess it is two different things.
Okay, we've definitely got to talk about this now.
It was Washington versus East Peoria.
Okay. Tell the story.
So you guys organized like West Side Story? What happened?
Kinda. Well, I was going just to observe because it was
Observe.
Well played.
it was a couple of the older guys. It was JJ.
Mm-hmm.
And then all their friends, and then some kids from East Peoria, and it was gonna go fucking down. And of course, when you have 100 cars from each direction show up to one spot, it gets curious why a bunch of teenagers are in one spot.
That's gonna garner some attention. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much, I pulled up. I saw what was going on. I saw Mike Johnson, and I went, "Oh, I gotta go." And then I
Which we were friends with this guy, and they were the neighbors that lived across the street from us at one point in time.
Nice.
Yeah, that would have been a fun thing for everyone.
I saw him, and
Yeah, I've definitely, I was never the one who was causing the trouble, but I definitely put myself in proximity with my friends to people who were doing stuff. Like I remember putting a dead squirrel in someone's mailbox. Like I would never do something like that, but it was like they hated this one kid. His name's Josh Royko. He's this big kid. Like he was 6'5" in high school. Like he was one of those big kids, and so he lived in the block. And so we were at another friend's house, and we were walking for whatever reason, and it was at night, and they're like, "Oh, Royko lives over here." And so they went, and there was some fucking roadkill. We went and picked it up, and they put it in his mailbox. And I'm just like, I didn't like help put it in, but I was there. I was an accomplice for sure. So I look back on that. I'm thinking, God damn, why did we even do that? Like, what did he do to deserve that?
Right.
We weren't friends or anything, but it was just like, that stuff that you do, that bullying or that just picking on kids for whatever reason. Yeah, we did some dumb shit. Like, I actually had my next door neighbor. We called him the Silver Bullet because he had a silver tooth as a replacement. Like I don't know if it was one of his front two teeth, but it was one of the ones on the front for sure. And so his name is Cody, and he's friends with another Cody. Cody A, Silver Bullet, was about 5'9", about 220. He's a big kid. Is in like middle school, like 8th grade. And Cody Evans played on the football team. He was about 5'9", about 320. And so gigantic kids. And so Silver Bullet was tired of getting teased for his tooth. So he told the other Cody, he was like, "Yo, just punch me in the face, knock it out. My mom won't have a choice. She'll have to replace it." Cody got himself a new tooth. Like he got and the thing about it was so like calm. Like when guys don't like one another, they fight it out, and then they're usually good afterwards, unless it's like some serious like bad shit. And so the anticipation of it was like, he's really gonna let him punch him in the face, and then it was just like smack, and then he bent over, picked it up, had a bloody mouth, and just smiled. And like that's a core memory of mine, because like who does that? Why would you? And so that's that Midwest hillbilly bullshit that I was proximity to. That same guy after he got his new tooth, he shot me with a BB gun from across the cornfield. Like we used to have firework wars, talking about shit you're not supposed to do. So we would have get up on one side of the cornfield, and then the other would get on the other side, and we'd shoot bottle rockets and whatever. And so he brought his BB gun, and we're just like, yo, he was like worried about coyotes, which is a valid excuse. And so it's at the end of the night. Like, no, that's a common theme. It's at the end of what we're doing, and so he doesn't want to stop having fun, and we're all kind of like figuring out where we're gonna go afterwards or go home. And he goes, "Run," and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?" He says, "Run," and he grabs his gun. My older brother, who's his friend, just kind of looks at him like, "You're not serious." Everybody else starts running. He was only talking to me. So of course I run. This dude let me get like 20 yards away. He pointed at me, pointed it up at the sky, shot it, hit me in my back. I was like, I had a new level of respect for him after that. Not gonna lie. Like, I saw this dude purposely get hit in the face and then shoot me from afar for fun. It was like, yeah, believe me, my mom, and she's never heard. She doesn't watch this show. She doesn't like none of that. But like, definitely got at some shit. Had no business doing. No business at all. It's funny hearing you and seeing your face because my mom would have the same kind of reaction, and then the next time I talked to her, she would like bring it up for no reason. This little petty crime that I committed, or that I admitted to 20 years after the fact, she'll use that as the next start of a conversation for no reason. But love you, Mom.
Do I do that?
What?
Oof.
Do I bring up? Am I a bringer up?
No. No, unless something happens that reminds you of something, and you go, "Oh, do you remember?"
Yep.
And I go,
There it is. There it is. You open the door, though.
Have you seen Jacob's pearly front teeth?
Always.
Mm-hmm.
They were not always like that.
Yeah, I think you got them all. I think you.
I had a little chip up top. It was my bottom one that has this one that's flat.
Okay.
That's the one.
Were you 15?
I already know what's coming. Yeah,
15?
That's 15.
Yes.
I already know the story. It's a great story.
His dad and I, we had the opportunity to do this really cool trip to Virginia Beach and Washington, D.C. and things like that. And he had a summer job doing construction with a friend of ours. And we had friends that lived near the construction site that he was hanging siding for him. So our friend said, yeah, Jay can stay with us while you guys are gone. And then he would ride his bike up to where he worked and then back to their house. So with the kids, we kind of divvied them up. They all didn't go to the same place because not everybody can handle 3 boys. And we were not in Virginia Beach 24 hours. In fact, I think we had just checked into our hotel room and our phone rings. And it's these friends that he's staying with. And they're like, I don't know how to say this, but Jacob and a friend were out running together.
Riding bikes.
And Jacob crashed and broke his front teeth.
Oof.
And I said, okay, our dentist is so-and-so. If you want to have them call us in Virginia Beach, I'll give, the okay that you can have his teeth fixed while he's there. So the story was pretty believable, but whatever. So what really happened was what?
I went over to a couple guys' house and we were boxing in the basement. I got knocked out.
You were basement boxing, so Fight Club.
Yeah.
Was this what is the timeline? How soon is this? How close is this to that movie? Was that the inspiration?
No.
How did that invite go, man?
Well, we went over where I was hanging out. And then there was a guy, his name's Jeff. And the whole thing about Jeff was big and crazy and he'd box anybody. And he was like, hey, you want to box? And I was like, sure.
Oh, okay. So no reasoning, no leg pulling, just okay.
Just something to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And he held up to his name.
Yeah. I remember I got my gloves on. It wasn't like a solid good let's go boxing match because I remember I had my gloves on and I was like, okay, cool. And I turn around and And then I was on the ground getting helped up, trying to figure out where I was at.
Picking up pieces of his teeth.
Golly. Pre-social media.
Yeah.
Praise baby Jesus. Because that'll ruin your life, especially as a young kid nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Get that posted online.
Well, so then we had the real Fight Club. That was the other one.
Oh, there was another organized outside of the Hillbilly West Side Story?
Yeah, that was when a bunch of us decided not to go to senior prom. So we were all hanging out at Austin Durstein's.
Yeah.
And it was, all right, we're going to do this like Fight Club. If you get called out, you have to fight.
Fuck yes.
Okay. Why not? And I still feel bad about this, but poor Austin Durstein was a little guy. So I wasn't ever a giant of a man, as you can tell, but I probably had 4 inches on Kermit.
He was tiny.
About $120 on his best day. And I was about 170 because the wrestling was over. He goes, I want Howard. We called him Kermit because he kind of talked like Kermit the Frog.
Yo, he called you out?
Yeah. And that was it. Those were the rules. And I was like, okay. And I was just playing with him and toying with him because I was like, I don't want to hurt him. He's my friend. I don't want this. and he landed just a mean right cross on me, but it was, and then I was like, ding. And then
for sure.
Next thing I know is I'm getting pulled off of him.
Yeah.
And oh man, it was so bad because he had braces. And we took him back to his mom's basement because we were at his house.
Wow.
And we were like trying to pull his lips off of his teeth.
So this is senior prom night?
Yeah. But
goodness gracious.
Yeah.
The Dursteins were good people.
They're great people.
Oh my God.
They're wonderful people.
Yes. They endured a lot.
This has been like 20 years ago and I still feel horrible.
A lot.
That's amazing. That makes me not even want to talk about my senior prom story now, because the minute you said that, I was like, oh, I mean, I basically could have gone to jail for what I did, but like, I know it's PG, and then you telling me that story, and I'm just like, let's not even talk about it. Like,
one of my best friend's mouth and just
that's fantastic. I love how quickly your mom went from no last names to publicly apologizing to the family. That was amazing.
The Dursteins are good people.
My son, the asshole.
Well, I mean, you kids are in our house too, but I don't think that. Well, unless there's stories I don't know, but I don't think there was.
Oh, there've got to be. There've got to be.
Oh, there was no fighting in your house.
As a kid, as a man whose mom will refer to him as a good kid, I did some shit that my mom doesn't know about that is no bueno. Like, just straight up, and not to brag, like not like wanting the attention for it, but just know that he's got some shit that he did. All boys have shit that they've done that we're just like, and your youth plays into the majority of your decision.
Right.
It's not some shit that you can expect him to do tomorrow or ever.
Yeah.
Again.
You honestly don't think your mom knows?
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm sure there's things you've done that I don't know.
100%.
But I know. I feel like I know a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty.
Oh yeah.
And then when I get caught, I'm like, ta-da!
Or he would go ta-da, and I'd be like, yeah, I knew.
So my senior prom, we went. There were like 30 of us that went together to this steakhouse in. Fuck, you might even know it. It's in Illinois. It's called Sam's Steakhouse. But basically, the premise of the place is you cook your own meat. So they have like a whole bunch of grills set up and blah, blah, blah. So we went there and it was okay, but the staff got overwhelmed even though they knew we were coming. And so we took a stretch limo there that we had a certain time frame that we had it rented. If we didn't leave by a certain time, they were going to leave us, and then we all had to figure out how to take taxis 30 minutes back to our senior prom site. So we said, fuck Sam's Steakhouse, and we, dined and dashed. But I waited around for like 15 minutes with my check, the cash in my hand, and the tip along with it. So I was ready to go. But there were so many of us, I just assumed someone was going to take it. And it would likely happen with a bunch of 18-year-olds. So, yeah, we just left. I was the only person who got snitched on. And so I got called into the office on Monday. And they were like, blah, blah, blah. And I admitted to it. I was like, yeah. And I explained why. I wrote them a check. But my mom never knew until I told her. Because one, it was a story worth sharing. And two, like, I didn't hide stuff from my mom like that because I knew that she would find out about it at some point. But yeah, if I hadn't told her that story, she would have never known that I had a $64 tab that I was just like, deuces. and then cross state lines.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it would have it had the opportunity to really be bad, but yeah, that was my senior prom story. So.
Nice.
Not a bad senior prom story.
But yeah, I wasn't obliterating somebody's face.
The one with Bobo and Allison and
That wasn't a homecoming.
was it a vice versa?
Uh-huh. I don't want to tell that story.
Okay, we're not going to tell that story.
There's the red tape.
Alcohol.
Oh no, we can tell that part. Yeah, that's fine.
Proceed.
Let's just say everyone involved is well-adjusted adults.
Oh my, nice preface.
We are now.
Like we are now.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Hey,
Sure.
So Lisa, before we share that story, have you ever spoken to anyone on a professional level to air out your PTSD from your son's trauma?
No, I don't have any
Okay. Oh, okay.
from raising my kids.
I mean, just the way that you talk about the ruggedness of them all, you would assume that it's going to make your heart turn. Because I know the way when my kids get hurt in any given moment, like there's a level of, I don't know, just the shock value of it all. So did you just got numb to it at some point, or?
I was an only child until I was 14 and I had my sister. I always wanted siblings and I always wanted hubbub.
Okay.
And I was raised everybody has some form of toxicity in from their parents. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'll just leave it at that. And I just knew that I wanted more than one child. I wanted them to have fun and hubbub. I knew that there would be chaos, and I looked forward to it.
Nice.
So I'm not numb to it. When my kids hurt, I hurt. When they're joyful, I'm joyful. Did they get their butt whooped?
Please, hopefully.
Did they get grounded? Was there discipline? Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But for me to have PTSD, no. I look back now, and some of the things are just hilarious that they got away with.
Yeah. No, that's good. I remember the last time my mom tried to whoop me, because they were frequent ass whoopers. I assume I deserved it all. Again, this is talking about a woman who will today say I was a good kid. The last time she tried to whip me, I put a pillow down my pants, and she had a day, and I knew what button to push, and I stomped on it, and so she went to town on my backside. Didn't hurt at all, and so I sold it. So I'm going, I'm crying and I'm, tears and all that. But as soon as I get to my room, like I literally sit down on the cushion that saved me. So it's, I made it. And then she said those immortal words. She said, wait till your father gets home. And then I broke down for real because my dad with bare hands could equivocate what she did with an actual studded belt. So, yeah, I hope you whooped your son's ass because we were part of that. We were both part of that generation to where a lot of that
Well,
was earned.
but I had a limit. I did I have a limit? Because I got myself knocked around a lot. When I said go bend over the bed, they got 3 swats. They didn't
Okay.
get 4 swats. They got 5 swats. They didn't get 2 swats. They got 3 swats.
They're measured. It's microdosing. She was microdosing ass whippings. That's amazing.
Because
Yes.
you have to decipher: are you disciplining because you're angry, or are you disciplining because they need discipline?
Right.
What's the difference?
Very
There's
good.
a big difference. So, what's your story?
That's fine. It works.
No,
No,
we're airing it.
No, you are fine. That works.
Spit it out.
I just did.
That was well said.
What are you trying? What are you trying to twist out of me? I just
I
agreed
don't
with
know.
you.
You were giving me the.
Because I just wanted to see where you're going.
Well, for context, my I used to live in family housing
Jesus.
off of the campus of Indiana State University, and so it's all of the transplants from different countries and different parts of the states, let alone the world. And so I befriended a family from Africa, and so their boys, Adela and Wale, they're little Americanized boys when their parents are straight African. So like their discipline level is top notch. And so, but they didn't care. Like, they got so they're just excitable boys. And so Wale used to like to do front flips on their couch. And that was like when their parents were gone, that's when he would get it out. So so we knew what time their parents were supposed to come home. And it was getting close to that time, and he was just over there flipping. And so I don't remember if it was out of spite or if we were just like, no. I very vividly remember one of us saying out loud, "You should probably stop that soon, because they're coming home." I'm pretty sure it was me. And this is like young, right? And so I'm just looking out for him. He's over there doing front flips. And so then we're playing video games, me and his older brother, because he was the same age as me. We're playing video games. It was like cinematic. The video game had a pause in the action, so there's no sound. The front door, you could hear it close, and then you hear Wale land his front flip. Boom. It was like 1, 2, 3 right in succession. And so we all froze. Sure enough, his dad came in and saw him land the front flip. And so he goes, "Adiola, tell your friend to leave." And I was like, it's about to go down. And so he went and got the iron, and he folded the cable, and he did just like you did. You said, what did you say? Grab the bedpost?
I just say bend over the bed.
Yeah. He said, lean over. And he whipped him on the back of the neck with that cable. I didn't see it because I turned my head, but I heard the first crack and I was gone. I took off out that door. Like I literally ran home, like scared from But that was his level of discipline, was he would crack necks. And so he knew that, like, this wasn't the first time. And he still had that gall to do that. And so when it happened, you just look back and you're like, God damn, he did not care. He did not care. So yeah, that was my mom. I mean, my grandma, my dad's mom, lived with me for a brief time when I was probably like 10 or 11, and she raised 6 children by herself. Played no games. So I got and she had some very nice studded belts that I did not like. And so yeah, I got my ass whipped plenty. Like, I think I'm a decent person. I think I turned out okay, but like I feel bad hitting my kids. Like, I've barely spanked either of my kids. And even when I did, whether they deserved it or not afterwards, I felt bad. So like, I guess that's just, I don't know if that's just good parenting. Yeah, that's good parenting on my parents' end, that I learned enough to know what not to do, if anything. So,
Right.
But yeah, I hope you whooped his ass.
Discipline's not something you're supposed to want to do.
You're not supposed to,
Right. So you're good.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody how good Jacob is. And then, a key that someone shared with me was people would say, "Oh, your kids are so good. They hold the door open. They say please and thank you." And I'm like, my kids?
That's because you whooped their ass behind the scenes.
Oh, my kids are?
Yes.
And someone shared that your kids are going to be kids with you. When they're away from you, what they do shows what you've taught and what you've raised.
Very good.
I always knew I had good kids.
Yeah.
Jake's a great adult. He's a great my kid. He's a great kid.
We like this kid too.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Oh, love you.
This is what's supposed to happen when mom visits, right?
Oh, I mean,
What do you say?
we're supposed to have when mom visits.
Oh,
I mean, we've been steady eating some bullshit and having good times.
yeah.
This is the equivalent of her opening up the photo book and flipping pages, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Except we're not purposely doing it to embarrass you. If anything, we're giving you pats on the back, brother.
Dude, I've embarrassed myself fucking plenty. Where this? Wow.
Well, you had said leading up to this that it's been a bit of a week and it's only Wednesday, so.
Oh yeah, it was just the girls and
Marley had a bad night last
Marley
night.
had a really bad night last night, where she was just like pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure out why.
And Ruth broke her nose today.
Yeah. And then cut her hand on some rocks.
She's on a tear. How old is she again? 4?
2,
2. Oh man, yeah, she's in it.
3 next month, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing else has been bad, has it?
No.
Just 2 crazy days.
Yeah, but I'm signing house contracts
Oh, yeah.
and dealing with athletes. And
Acting like you have real life things to do. Stop.
you're right. I'm just simply a stay-at-home dad, right? Like you just said in the show.
Do you normally pet her face like that?
Did I say he's so gay sometimes?
Happy Pride Month, everybody!
Happy Pride Month. It's probably part of the plus on the LGBT.
Yes, that's so great. That's amazing. Hey, Natasha Nice has nothing on your mother. Let me just say that. Let me just say that right now. This episode already is so much better. Oh, that's amazing.
But did I say just to stay at home? I don't think I said just. I think as a.
Very good. Well, hey, speaking of Pride Month, my mother asked me point blank if I was gay when I was 18. Like, out of respect for her, I did not bring girls to the house because I didn't want to disrespect her home in that manner. I never said this to her.
Six.
You see how something happens without you saying anything? You see how that amazing happens? So yeah, I didn't want to do that. So apparently to her, over so much time, that meant that I wasn't interested in girls. It wasn't like I was bringing my guy friends home and just hanging out with them, like, curiously in our room by ourselves. Like, we were doing boy stuff. Like, it was never a thing. But I was at home making a sandwich on a random day, and she comes up out of nowhere, and she was just like, so I was talking to whatever, her sister or, whatever. And so she was just like, she started making it weird. And she was like, if it's the case, it's okay. I just, I wanted to have this conversation with you. I'm just like, oh, and so I figured out what was coming and told her that, no, I still liked girls, Mom. But I didn't bring other girls over. And she thought that it was a slight on her. And so then I explained it to her. I was like, do you want me to just bring any girl over here and fuck her in my bedroom? Like, do you want that? And she was like, and so she goes, no, of course not. I said, so yes, of course. I haven't been bringing girls to the house. And she goes, okay. So we shared a laugh about it, and we laugh about it to this day. So yeah, again, happy Pride Month. But yeah,
Yeah.
It definitely still happens.
Don't bring girls home. Only people allowed to have sex in my mom's house is my mom and my dad.
That's the rule.
That's the rule. It's never been broken.
So wait, did you guys had this actual conversation?
Yep.
Those rules were displayed.
Yep.
Very good.
Never been broken.
Ugh.
No,
Not
by anyone.
Not once. Not never.
Now, see,
Not that I even like walked in on a couple occasions.
oh yes. Wait, let me get that. Let me get a close up. There it is. So you saw this to your left. You saw that picture in real time. You basically saw that face.
Eyes like in shock mode.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's so great.
But it wasn't just you; it was also Allison,
Uh-huh.
and that was a horrible. I mean, I
Oof.
just got to pee in there in the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, because Karen and I were just sleeping.
yeah. All you kids that I allowed to stay over just slept.
Just slept. Just cuddling.
So I didn't bring girls home. I just took really long showers.
Yeah.
So
Listen, never had a deacon's daughter.
I know. That's who I was talking about.
also you were purposely bringing sin to the home, not just like love. But this is like all sinful on purpose.
Yeah.
Oof.
The deacons' kids that are the worst. They always say it's the preachers, but it's the deacons.
But like she said, she tells people Jake was a good kid. That's what I'm talking about.
Because that's life. That's just life.
Hey man, Rebecca said earlier.
Rebecca's still here.
Rebecca said earlier, you're the coolest mom ever. That was not an overstatement. That was not. That was not. Your mom has got it together, man.
Oh, yeah, she
Fantastic.
rules. She's lived some life.
Yeah.
Seen some things.
But there's other parents who have lived some life and then they're jaded as fuck to their kids. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So like, it's awesome that not only is she here, just like, yeah, sure, let's hop on this live stream that's public immediately. And has this clarity and can see the positivity that's come from your growth, from all of the trauma that we laugh about, that she is just kind of grinning at.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm still here. Very good.
Well, it's because Rebecca went to the same church we went to.
Oh, very good.
I will not be answering name-related questions later.
Yes, that's so great.
She's pretty special, Rebecca is. She's got part of my heart. She's a goodie.
And that's what I tried to tell my mom. I was like, I'm not gonna bring anyone home that's not worthy of you knowing who they are. So
Well, everyone I brought home was worth knowing.
I mean, he can say that with you know, through that shit-eating grin, but I was genuinely sincere when I said that. And so the only girl she really ever saw is the woman who's in the other room. Like, it wasn't a joke. And so I tried to do that, but as soon as we had that conversation, I did not care. I'll tell you that. I didn't pull Jake the Snake or anything, but like I did not shy away.
Well, I got where, I would like her. And then if I said I didn't like her, then Jacob give her the boot. And she would,
Not how that always went. The moment you would say I like her, she was like, oh, by the way, here's my other boyfriend.
Aw, no.
So it got to the point where I told her, I was like, if you like her, you shut up. You don't tell me.
Very good.
okay, so it's my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Right? The curse.
So how did you introduce Brittany to her?
Hey, come out to Arizona. Here's your grandchild.
No.
That's not true.
No.
I mean, I did not meet Brittany in person though until December of 2018.
Was it when we moved out here? Or no, it was when we were still at the apartment.
You
huh?
were still at the apartments.
Yeah, so that's about right. So we didn't move out here until March.
And we came out and did I meet her before we came out with the grandparents?
I don't think so.
Yes, Dad and I came out.
Mhm.
Yes,
Okay.
because Brittany ended up being in the hospital that night. We had the kids
Yep.
the first night. We didn't even meet. We came, we met everybody, and then something happened. Brittany had to go in the hospital, and we had the kids the very first night that we met them.
Her kids.
Her kids.
Yes.
In our
Look at his face. Look at his face. He would have never said any of these things.
He wasn't thinking about it, probably. And that's how we met her and the kids.
Abruptly.
Yeah. And I mean, we came out to visit, but shit happened, and away we went. And then the next time we came out was December, because we came earlier. It was summertime.
Yeah.
So you
And
watched her
the
kids?
following December, and we were supposed to meet them at a park for a cookout, and they surprised us with a baby shirt and a party to let us know that Ruthie was on the way.
No trauma, no PTSD.
No?
It's amazing, dude.
Well, I think it's because, I mean, my whole life, I moved all the time until 5th grade. So my whole life changed every 6 months to a year because my dad's a preacher.
Okay.
So, and he never stayed at the same church because I'm finding out he probably pissed everybody off.
Uh-oh.
And he had to move on. It's probably what really happened. And so my whole life's been pick up and go and roll with the punches. There's no time for PTSD of anything.
Sure.
That's still one of the funniest videos ever.
Which one?
When you pop the gender reveal balloon and you hear me go, fuck!
You didn't delete that, man?
It's somewhere in the archives. It's on the internet somewhere.
Well, I saw an article. I don't think it was you, man. I saw a video of another dad who had the same reaction. And he had like 2 or 3 other girls, and so they had another kid, and they bought a balloon, and he audibly curses and then storms off. Like, and he like paces across the camera shot a couple different times, like uttering curse words under his breath. It's hilarious, dude. But of course, the parents' rights advocates get a hold of it, and so then they trash his name and
Right.
Yeah.
throw his
Because
image
no
under the bus.
emotions.
Yeah.
It's not allowed.
And sure, he is most definitely granted to have that, but it's the response. It's his response, right? Because a lot of people will come out and be like, yo, I had a bad day, or it's a lot. All girls is a lot. That's a legitimate reasoning and statement. But there are other people who will come out and be like fuck you all. I don't want all girls. I want a boy too. Like, that's not right.
Right.
But there are definitely people who will double down on that nonsense because, that alpha male mentality to where you got to carry on your family name, whether it's worthy of being carried on or not. So
I think my whole thing was because Britt had already had the 2 big girls, and I was like, okay,
you made plans.
Yeah, I was like, well, I mean, it'd be cool if, our son would help bring balance.
No, bro. You just said our son to something you didn't know the sex of. Like you had pre-existing expectations.
Of course.
And as a man, I did too. The first time with the first girl, there was a deep sigh, holding my wife's hand, and then it was health, make sure everything's good. And it really, there really was a light switch, man.
But do you think that's because you really wanted a boy, or it's because you knew boys because you came from boys?
It was mostly that, the latter. But I definitely grew up with the impression to carry on my name, I had to have a boy in order to solidify my status as a man in society, I have to have a son. Because a parent to all girls is what kind of dad? He's not a tough guy. He's not somebody who you can rely on. It's not someone who's trustworthy. There are weird stigmas attached to being a stay-at-home parent, a staying-home dad. Like, we've talked about on the show, the emasculation you feel as someone who is normally a provider who now has to rely on your significant other's income. Like, there's a level of pride swallowing that goes into all of that. So I mean, it's all baked in. But the moment I understood the important things, all the the latter things you talked about, or I'm sorry, the how much value I gave the latter things you talked about. I gave it a whole lot of importance, but it was ego. It was all ego talking. And as soon as I threw that out the window, my mindset shifted because I knew it was only about her. It was only about what was going to benefit her. And I had to say that out loud. I had to get used to saying her. I had to get used to the fact that my daughter loves music the same way I do now. And there's no difference in how I would approach introducing her to my DJ equipment or to my playlist and the old music that she loves now that she never has no business knowing because it came out 40 years ago. Like, I can't look back and say, oh, it would be the exact same thing with my son, because I definitely would have approached it differently. I definitely would have. But there's a softening that happened, but it's non-existent with my second daughter because she is a Tasmanian devil. So, like, no matter how I choose to look at it, the reality of the circumstance is I determine the sex of the baby. So it's literally on me, according to science. So, do I get mad at myself for my own result? Like, do I get science involved to where I'm now choosing the sex of my baby? That's weird too.
Yeah.
But like, you do what you're gonna do. You're gonna be who you're gonna be. Like you were talking about Jake earlier. You could have set all these boundaries and these parameters up, but he would have still done him, one way or the other. So it's just about recognizing who they are and putting safe boundaries up around them, but still allowing them to become who they're gonna be. And that's tough. That's tough sometimes.
Yeah. I always wanted our home to be a safe place to land.
Yeah.
When you fuck up, you still come home. You're still going to be loved. You may hear it, but the people that live there still love you.
Mm-hmm.
You still have a bed to sleep in, and I'm still going to feed you supper every night. It's still, it is what it is. You pay your own fines. I'll drive you to court. I'll take you there. You got to pay for your own shit. But
Yeah, when did I get my license back?
after one of the times you were home for a decent period.
One of the times. How many times?
Or was it after you were out of the service we finally got it done?
It was after I was out.
Was it when? Okay, so then was it actually?
It was after
when I brought you back from Arizona.
Yeah, it was after. Yeah.
Well, and that was a fun trip because his brother, the autistic one, had also lost his license and had to go to school and relearn their little school stuff. So I took my two oldest over to driving school. Grown ass men to take their little classy class so they could get their license.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, see, they had told me I was already like on the way to boot camp or something.
I don't think you ever fucking listened to what they really did.
Okay. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. But it was like I was already out the door, and it was you have to complete defensive driving course and submit your stuff. And I was like, well, that's fine. I'm taking it like in boot camp. It's in their curriculum. Like you take a defensive driving course there. Yeah. So that's part. Because at some point in time, you're going to end up driving a truck. So it's just part of boot camp. So I sent my defensive driving course, a copy of it to good old Secretary of State Jesse White, his office. Then I'd hear nothing back and nothing would happen. And then I'd send another one. And I did that for about a year and a half. Didn't hear nothing back.
Well, then you found out later that it's only good for a year.
Well, then I found out that they didn't matter anyway because the state of Illinois didn't recognize it.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
Sorry, be you.
so I totally was never driving from almost 18, so like 17 and a half until 23.
Yeah, that was it. Just let me take your car, Mom, just up to the grocery store. No, you're not taking my car with no driver's license. Well, I'm a good driver. Yeah, I experienced that the first 2 years you had your driver's license that you don't have anymore. Congratulations.
Yeah, but I drove for years like a grandma, never breaking any law.
Not my car.
Not your car.
Whoever let you drive, they're stupid. Their insurance, they've been so stuck.
What was real fun is when I bought that Ford Explorer from the girl that was moving when I was living in Tempe,
Mm-hmm.
and she's originally from Boston.
Yeah.
So everything underneath it was rusted out from the salt and shit from Boston. And I was driving with my roommate at the time, Travis. We were coming back home from somewhere, and the brake line exploded underneath this Explorer. So I had to make it back home like another 5 miles home using the emergency brake and the parking brake. No driver's license.
Not only no driver's license, but like suspended, right?
Yeah.
Goodness. Riding Dirty. If I had Chameleonaire queued up, I'd play it right now. I can't.
Sometimes crimes.
So are you also the same person?
But you don't know.
I don't even know. It's not my fucking business. You can tell me if you want.
Not now.
What I don't know won't hurt me, right?
Probably not. And I'm so old now that it doesn't matter to anybody else either.
I mean, that's the point where I think everything that I've ever done, I can talk about it publicly because who cares? Tough shit. Statute of limitations. Baby.
So you lost your license. What did that have to do with that?
I was being dumb. I caused a wreck.
Ooh, what do you mean?
2 speeding tickets, 3 speeding tickets.
Excessive or just 10?
The first one was definitely excessive.
Oh, god damn. Your first ever speeding ticket was excessive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. I wasn't even thinking about that till just now.
State
There it
trooper
is.
called
I'm telling you, your
me
mom does a really good job of. What was the listed miles per hour, and what were you going?
96.
Oh, what the?
And then
With who in the car?
both my brothers and lunch. Had to get to the office. Had lunch for everyone.
I had done some food for the office where his dad worked.
Where I was working too.
And you were working. And I said, hey, put that stuff in the car and come on out at such and such a time. He was late.
you in 96 and well, I mean, you got caught, but yeah.
I wouldn't have been late. Had to spend some time talking to a trooper.
So,
Who was giving me 3
what-
tickets.
What was the infraction? Just excessive?
It was excessive speeding. He was trying to give me some bullshit about my younger brother not being in a booster seat. And then, what was the other one?
Was it endangerment? No.
No.
Yeah, that
was-
could be child endangerment.
So was it a 55 or a 65? I can't remember.
I think it was a 55.
Yeah, so I was
and you were
doing
doing 96.
96 and a 55.
Damn, son.
And the big
In my Monte Carlo.
no, it was the Chevy Malibu.
Oh, Malibu. Mm-hmm.
Safer.
It was the Malibu. Because and the big bragging point was he clocked me after I was slowing down.
The bragging point. Well said.
I mean, because I hit it, and I hit it to where the car was like the governor kicked in and was like, "No,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Okay."
I mean, full disclosure, there is pride in that. There definitely is pride when you hit that wall and you're like, I've got to slow down now.
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, it's one of my favorite things in the world. 'Cause this is going to sound so shitty because my brother's autistic, and one of my favorite things in the world is seeing what his limits are to where he gets too nervous.
Out of his comfort zone. Yeah.
Yep. And I was like, let's see if danger freaks him out. And he was doing okay. He did all right. It wasn't until the old cherries and berries turned on where he's like, "What's going on?"
Oh boy.
But yeah, seeing the second time was
Oh, when your dad says Walmart's open 24 hours, boy.
yep. I don't even remember. Like,
You said you were on your way to Walmart.
yeah, I was on my way to Walmart for something, and I wasn't. I was doing like 10 over or something like that.
In the same vehicle?
No. Yes. Yes.
That's important.
Yeah, because that was before I got
the little black car.
the Geostorm.
Oh yes, you had a Geostorm. That's right.
And then the third one was it was that motherfucker that always followed me when I was in Washington.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Piece of shit. And I was and that one but like that one was like I was like it was stupid. I was like 5 over because for some reason he didn't like me because he used to follow. He used to, when I'd cross into Washington, he would see my car and follow me.
Bro, you are
Because he made a name for himself already.
Yeah, you're a habitual line stepper, bro. You're easy bait.
Not in Washington. There's a state trooper in Peoria, Bartonville, technically. My second ticket was in East Peoria. Washington cops didn't have no beef with me. Except for their fucking smug shit.
But like you said, your reputation preceded yourself.
Well, feels good to be such a crime lord.
Hey,
No, but I was
life is slow in the Midwest, man.
I was in court supervision for that one, and
For your first one.
and I'd done the court supervision for that one. That was already done.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the one on the way to Walmart, and I got the one from Officer Dick McFuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on court supervision again, and honestly, I probably wasn't paying attention. Didn't yield to a lady's right of way. She hit me. It was my fault.
You turned in front of her.
I turned in front of her.
Nice.
Yeah. With me, DeAndre Bobo, Derek Wade, and Evan Knobloch. All in this.
It sounds like
I was just in a car accident on 24. 24, everybody gets killed on. Everybody gets killed on that highway.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a great phone call.
But we made it.
Here we are.
oh man, you want to talk about things my mom doesn't know? Yes. Light bulb. There's no actual crime. 1, 2, any statutes has passed. 3, the driver is now a pastor who has a family of like 8 deep, huge family. Awesome guy. We used to go to this dance club in Mooresville, Indiana, which is just outside of Indianapolis. So it takes like 45 minutes to get there. We would frequent this place a lot. And we went one night, had a blast, exhausted, driving home. My buddy Matt is driving. I'm in the backseat directly behind him. We had been drinking, but it was like we had sweated all out dancing, partying, whatever. So it was like it didn't matter at that time. But we were following another group a car full of people that went with us. So there was like probably a dozen of us total, 3 cars. And so we were the last car. So I asked if they wanted me to drive, and they said no. And so I said, as long as you keep the radio on, I'll be fine. So if you get tired, just say something and I can drive. Cool. 5 minutes later, we cross, that point in a radio in the middle of nowhere to where there's no radio station. It's just static. that static is like white noise. It puts you to sleep. So I fall asleep. The whole car falls asleep. And so I wake up to the sound of that ruddering noise when you have like those tractors that leave the ruts on the side of the road. So it's this brrrr, and I look up and I see my friend's head going like this. It's just bouncing back and forth because of the road. He's going 70, and so we fly off the highway. It had rained the night before, so it was still like wet and muddy. So we like slide 200 feet. The whole car wakes up. We're all freaking out, and we survived. My parents never heard about this or saw it. There was like maybe 40 feet between us and like the edge of where a bridge was on the highway. Could have been way fucking worse. And then we wound up getting the car out of the ditch that same night. Like, my buddy got destroyed. Like, he made the mistake of getting behind the rear wheel, and it had rained the night before, so it was just all loose. So he gunned it, and it just laid him out with mud. My other friend, who is from Mexico, we had beer in the car left. He disappeared. He popped the trunk like in a matter of seconds. As soon as the car came to a stop, he put his shoes on because they were off. He hopped out of the car, opened up the trunk, got the rest of the beer, and took off into the woods to throw it out before any cops came.
Brilliant.
Smart.
It was so funny. So then we figured out, we pushed the car out. So we called ahead to the group because they all they did was see our lights disappear. And so the girl who was driving the other car, she started freaking out. She goes, I know they were behind me. I don't see a car now. And so they got to the next stop. We wound up showing to the next stop like a half hour later. And she like started slapping me. Like I showed up and she was like, what the fuck? Blah, 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 blah. Just like beating the shit out of me because she was mad. Like I was driving first of all, but I was the one who coordinated that night. And so I held the blame because we didn't make it home, quote unquote, safe. But yeah, my buddy's car didn't have any like severe damage. It was just like artificial, everything that needed addressed. But like, yeah, my parents never found out about that shit for sure. For sure. So yeah, there's like that. Like that's innocent intentions. Like we weren't gonna hurt anybody, but we almost fucked up our whole situation. Like just coming home from a late night of dancing and whatever. So yeah, we definitely. My mom would say I was a good kid. We got into some fucking bullshit just because we were young and stupid and testing our boundaries. So
You're supposed to.
You're supposed. I had a '72 Chevelle Malibu. That was my very first car, Super Sport. It was
Those are
orange. All right.
nice.
So a friend of mine had a Dodge Dart, and it was, I'm trying to think what year it was. It was probably in the 70s. And his was a Super Sport. We left work. We both worked at McDonald's one night, and we dragged. And I came up. He got ahead of me, and then I got around him and was beside him and got just around him, and I almost pushed him off the road because I didn't get all the way in front of him before I came over. He had to slam on his brakes and pull. That could have been a bad deal. But don't mess with my Chevelle. I will beat you.
My mom had a Firebird that she just fucking loved. My dad wrecked it. They don't talk about the Firebird very much. If she was sitting where you are right now, she probably wouldn't talk about it because she loved that fucking car. But it's awesome to hear you have affection toward a vehicle like that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wasn't it Dad who had the Dart and it caught on fire on the?
Yeah. Your dad. Yeah. The engine caught on fire in the driveway. It wasn't out like anywhere. It was in the driveway.
And she said, "I'm done."
Damn. That's brutal.
Oh, and then you had the Monte Carlo.
Mm-hmm.
That
I had a nice Monte Carlo. You were just a
at one
baby.
point.
Mm-hmm. We were just driving up a street, and someone backed out of their driveway as we were coming up the street, just backed right into us.
Mm.
Then it was an ugly Monte Carlo after that because they didn't have insurance. And back then, I had coverage for my car, but I didn't have coverage for someone who didn't.
Yeah, under uninsured, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't the other side get dinged up too?
And then, well, that got paid for. I was on my way to work, and a lady came out from a stop sign and hit me on the other side. So I just drove the smushed car, get a new one.
That's when we got the shaggin' wagon, right?
Then we had the little brown Cavalier.
Mm-hmm. I remember that car.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We had a Cavalier. We used to take long ass road trips in that thing.
Mm-hmm. And it was the wagon version.
Oh, it was not the wagon version. It was definitely the 4-seat or 4-door sedan or whatever they sold it as. That thing was not big.
Yeah.
Made do.
See, then was that after that you got the minivan?
We then, at some point, right thereafter, had the Geo Prism.
Yep.
And the minivan.
Yep. His dad drove the Prism everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He had the minivan.
And then we got the conversion van.
Yep, the big white van.
For trips. So we had 3 vehicles.
Yep. Ballin' status.
Yeah.
Big,
yep.
Big, small part of a not big town.
Right.
3 running vehicles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if we took a trip anywhere, we took the conversion van because the seats laid down or made out into beds.
The back seat made into a bed, and the
Mm-hmm.
captain's chair laid back.
My dad had a conversion van.
Uptown.
Well, that Prism lasted forever too.
Yeah, it did. That was one of our better cars.
The Storm would have lasted for a long time too.
Well, I told you we sold it for $100,
mm-hmm.
and he drove it for another 2,500 miles or 25,000 miles.
Jesus.
Beat up.
Yeah.
Yep.
They just don't make them like they used to.
But next to the car I have now, the car that I loved the most was I had the Dodge Magnum with the Hemi. Love.
Those are clean.
Love that. Except when they built ours, we had one of the first ones. When they built those Hemis, those cars with the Hemis, the transmission wasn't built big enough for that engine.
Yep.
And so the transmission kept dropping. And it was under warranty, so they kept having to replace it. But, that gets old.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But now I have the car I really
Subaru.
like. Yeah, I've got a Crosstrek Subaru now. I'm a hippie. Got my hippie car.
Subarus last forever, apparently, too.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like it because I get like 32 to 35 miles per gallon.
At $5.20 a gallon, that's a good thing to like.
Yeah. So.
I miss my Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
I miss my Monte Carlo.
Yeah. That was a pretty car.
It sure was.
Your adventures, Jake, have been pretty awesome. When I feel bad, he had that car was someone stole it. His Monte Carlo.
I see.
And he was in Victoria, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And what I feel, there's these mom moments that I have. Like he called me at 3 a.m, but I didn't answer the phone because I didn't hear it. We don't take our phones in the bedroom at night. And then things like that happen. And I'm like, I should have had but then I'm like, I couldn't have done anything for you, but listen to you, which I should have listened to you.
It's okay.
But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I love you, Mom.
I love you, Jake.
Thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thanks for letting me be on your show.
Of course.
I'm glad I meet you.
Thank you so much. Yes, pleasure meeting you as well. I'm so glad you came on. This is a level of insight. He's been talking about this for a while. I think he brought it up, not this past episode, but he's like, man, I get my mom on here and we're going to have plenty to talk about. He didn't lie. He did not exaggerate at all. So, yeah, thank you for visiting him so that way you can make your guest appearance. And I would be elated to have you back on.
Well, maybe next time around.
Maybe we can do it a parent's adventure. You and Dad can sit in front of it.
Ooh, maybe in November, December we'll be back.
There you go.
Something special here waiting for us.
That you've been made aware of this time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Very good. See? The growth. There it is. You want to sign us off, sir?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Silver Swole podcast. Once again, my name is Jake Howard, and for my guest, my mother, Lisa Howard.
Bye.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
So about 3 months ago, Paul and Ryan got into it.